In the next series of videos, we're going to be teaching you how to load your data into the computer, how to do some basic programming so you can work with the data, and how to organize it in a table. We're going to start by teaching you about the Python programming language, but before I do that, just a quick warm-up. I'm curious, if you had to take a guess, what do you think is the highest grossing movie of all time? And let me give you some options. Is it Avatar, Jaws, Titanic, Star Wars, maybe Star Wars: The Force Awakens? Then just take a guess. What do you think? All right, well, I'm not going to tell you the answer now, but by the end of this week, we'll show you how to compute what the answer to this question is. So on to Python. We're going to teach you the Python programming language. Python is a programming language that's widely used both for data science and also for software development in general. So we're going to be using this. You're going to need to learn how to write code in Python. This is the basic tool we'll use for manipulating data and processing it. So it's important for you to learn a little bit about how to do some programming in Python, and we're going to teach it to you. I'm going to show you in these videos some of the basic elements of Python programming, but realistically, you're going to need to learn by practicing. It's like, how do you learn to ride a bike? It's not enough to watch someone else do it. You got to try it out and practice yourself, and you're going to have to practice Python programming. So use the assignments as a chance to do that. The other way you can do that is each of the demos I show you, when I'm doing some Python code and demonstrating for you, you can follow along if you want. Look online for the link to the notebooks where you can try out the demos as you watch the video if you want. Speaking of a demo, let's do our first demo. Let me show you what it looks like when you do some basic Python programming. Here's what the programming environment looks like. It's a web page. You're going to go to the web page in your web browser. When you do some programming in this course, you're going to use this programming environment. So here's what it's going to look like. You're going to load up this web page. We call it a notebook. And this is, in this web page, you can put some Python code and run it, and you can see what the result is right there in the same web page. Okay, don't worry too much about what you see. At the top, you'll see this rectangle. It's called a cell. It has a whole bunch of stuff in it. It's like a whole bunch of gunk. Don't worry about it. You don't need to know anything about what's in there. I don't need you to understand it. It's some boilerplate stuff that sets up the Python programming environment and loads some code that'll be kind of useful for working with data sets. This is going to appear at the top of every one of our notebooks. We'll give you a blank notebook with that copy pasted in, and you don't need to know what's in there. All you need to know is when you get the notebook, the first thing you do is you have to run that cell. So how do you run a cell? You select the cell by clicking on it, and then go up to the button labeled Run and click that. Okay, that's finished running. Our environment is now set up. We're ready to write some code. How do you write code? Here you can see a rectangle that I've clicked on, I've selected. It's called a cell, and it's blank right now, and that's where we're going to put our code. So we can write some Python code, and we can run it, and we can see what the result of that is. There's lots of stuff you can do in Python. One very simple thing you can use Python for is a simple calculator. So let's try it. Let's try adding two numbers. 3 plus 5. I type that in. I type that into a blank cell. Now I have some code. Now I can run that code. The way I do that is by going up to that button labeled Run, and I click Run. What happens is the computer runs the code. It adds 3 and 5 for us, and it shows us the result. Here the result is 8, right below that. Okay. So this is how this notebook is going to work. You're going to have a space for you to write some code, and then when you run it, you're going to see what the result of running that code is. So let's try another example. Let's say we wanted to, let's try multiplying this time. We need to create a spot where we can put some code in, so we insert a new cell below. Excuse me, let's try that again. We insert a cell below, and here we get a blank cell. We can now write some code in there, like 6 times 72, and then we can run it. And the computer will tell us what 6 times 72 is. Okay. We could do more complicated examples if you want. 3 plus 5 plus 5 plus 27. It gets a little tedious to go click around on those run cells. So if you want, you can use keyboard shortcuts. You don't have to, but if you want, a keyboard shortcut is if you press Control, Enter, it will run the cell for you. That saves you a little bit of mousing around. Another handy keyboard shortcut. If you want to run this cell and also create a new blank one below where you can put some more code in, you can type Alt-Enter. You don't need to know those keyboard shortcuts, and you can just use the menu buttons at the top if you want, but maybe this will be more efficient for you as you start to write more code. Okay, so this is the simplest example of Python code I can show you, and as you're doing programming, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to open up the notebook in your web browser. You're going to have a cell. The part where it says in is where you type your code, and the part where it says out is where the computer shows you the result of running your code. Next video, I'll start to show you a little bit more stuff you can do with Python.